Okay, so I've soaked 1 cup of dry millet, and I let that soak in the water for, doesn't matter how much water, just cover it for about a half hour and swish it around with your hand and clean it. Then drain it on a mesh, a fine mesh, and let it dry completely out. So once it's completely dried, now I'm putting it in a dry pan, and I'm going to toast it up ever so slightly. I have it on about 6 out of 10. And toast that up till it gets like a golden browny color. Not real brown, just a golden color. And starts to get pregnant. Okay? So let that toast away. Okay, so I've been toasting this and stirring it so it doesn't stick and burn. It's got a lovely aroma coming off it. Now this really, by toasting it, I never used to do this, but I read it somewhere that it, brings out the lovely flavors. So, and it does. It gives it a real lovely flavor. So now that's good. Now to that, so that's 1 cup of dried that I've soaked, washed, dried out, and toasted. So now I'm going to add, this is mushroom broth. Okay, so I'm adding mushroom broth to it, 2 cups. 2 cups liquid to 1 cup of millet. Yeah, so now we're going to bring the heat up to maximum, bring it to a boil. So once it's come to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to minimum, give it one last little stir, put on a tight-fitting lid. Oops, timer. Stop. Timer. Dear Lord, thought I had this set up. 10, 1, 2, 3. 15 minutes. Don't peek. Let it simmer. Right down on minimum. 15 minutes. No peeking. Okay, thanks. So 15 minutes on the heat has come and gone. Then I removed it from the heat, kept the lid on it, and let it sit for an additional 10 minutes before taking the lid off. And voila, perfect. Perfectly cooked, no liquid remaining. Perfectly cooked millet. So now, just cool that down. We'll get on with making our tofu millet burgers with wild mushrooms. Yes. So I use dry mushrooms in the tofu millet burgers as well. So I measured loosely about a half a cup of dried. So what I do is I boil water and I cover them, let them imbibe, get moist again. Then I drain them really well. So let's put the kettle on. Okay, so the millet is completely cooled down and dried. I just left it on the counter here, no lid. And to that I'm going to add extra firm tofu. This is an organic one I got at, doesn't matter, here I got it. So it's completely drained and it's about 400 grams. It is 400 grams. Now, this is a bit laborious, but it's so worth it. So I just kind of, probably cut it like this, but then I have to get my hands in on it after. I also make this with an organic smoked tofu that is awesome. Not very smoky, but smoky enough to make it interesting. I love it. It's hard to get, so whenever I find it, I grab a few and throw some in the freezer. It freezes well. It doesn't really affect you can't kill this texture. Anyhow. Yeah, there we go. So, this is where the fun begins, with strong hands. So, this really got to be crumbly. It's a bit time consuming, but while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil there in the background, I'll turn that off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so just crumble it. Really crumble it. So once the tofu is all crumbled, then you mix it, and I mean really mix it with your hands. Mush with your hands. Almost like you're kneading it in. If you don't do this step of really getting your hands in on it, they'll never stick together. They don't look like much, folks, but I tell you now, this is, we made these at Stella's, so I try to remember again the recipe as best I could. But we couldn't keep these. These were very popular. Hard to believe. Oh, ye who do not like tofu. See, now it's starting to come together. Now, of course, there's going to be other stuff in this, but I need this is something that you need to do when it's cold and really see. You can see already that it wants to stick together, right? Let's keep that up. You'd think I like making bread. I hate it. I made bread once and it turned out like a, I don't know, hockey puck. Not like my mom's bread. Mom makes the best bread. Everybody thinks their own mother makes the best bread, but I love Mom's. Okay, so that's good. Right, we got it all up from the corners and stuff like that. So that's that part done. So to imbibe, the kettle's boiled now, so there's our dried mushrooms. It's a mixture. I buy them at Costco. Don't tell anyone. So it's got shiitake, porcini, cremini, portobello. So, yeah, so just pour the water over. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's covered. And like that. I also like to cover it with a bit of saran wrap, which I'll do now. And let it do its thing. Let the mushrooms soften up. I drain off the liquid after they're ready to rumble. But I save it and use it for other things. I mean, it's a lovely broth to use for, I don't know, mushroom risotto. Okay, so give that a little bit, and I'll show you how it turns out after. So, the mushrooms are soft, so I'm just letting them drain. You know, you can help them along a little bit, because we really don't want to, we're going to fry these up with the onions and garlic and savory, etc. So we don't want them to be too wet, so I just let them sit for a bit. Let them drain another bit, then I'm going to finally chop them. So I've heated the pan with some olive oil, then I added the finely chopped garlic, onions, and the chopped up wild mushrooms. So we're going to just fry these a little tiny bit. I don't want to brown them, so just, you know, let them sweat and wilt a little bit, okay? Do not want any brownie bits, so I got that on. I started it at 8 out of 10. I'm going to pull it back to about 4. Just want them just barely cooked. So when it's to about this cookedness, oh yeah, that was smart right there. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Newfoundland savory. It's grown here, but it's also different. I'm not sure what they call it on the mainland. Summer savory, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But this is, yeah. So then we're just going to incorporate that and let it get soften up a little tiny bit with the oil and the juices of everything, so it's not stocky in your burglar. Yeah. Just a few more minutes on that. Let go another little bit. So once, yeah, say 5 minutes. I won't continue here, but after it's done, take it off the heat. Let it cool completely before you add it to the mixture, and then that's the last step. And then we're all going to mix it all together and form the cake. So hang tight. My onion, mushroom, garlic mixture has cooled down. So now I'm going to transfer all of that into a big bowl. And to really, really mix it up, I'm going to put these gloves on because I'm not really fond of, you know. There we go. Now, run your thumbs through it. Turn it over. These are so good. Anyone who enjoys vegetarian food would love these. thoroughly mixed through. Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, we couldn't keep these in stock at Stella's. They're so good. So that's it. Now I'll start making patties and see how they stick together well. So I'll make a ball first. Flatten out about that size. And like I mentioned, we used to serve them at Stella's with in a pita, and then use your whatever condiment you wanted: ketchup, mustard, relish, lettuce, tomato. Sometimes people would ask to have cheese grilled over it. But for me, I like to, so I coat them in white cornmeal, fine white cornmeal, but you can use flour. I use cornmeal because a couple of my friends are gluten intolerant, so that. And I fry them, and for me, I like to just have 2 fried on the plate, and then a drizzle of roasted garlic aioli. I got 9 out of them. I said in the recipe that it makes 10, so I must have bulked them up a little bit. So 9 burgers you'll get. To ensure that these don't fall apart, I cover them with paper towel, and then I put saran wrap over them and let them sit in the fridge for about an hour. So I've heated the oil. Some garlic infused oil I have, but any kind of oil will do. Olive, canola, whatever. Don't use butter. Burns them up. So I started it off on 9 out of 10, and now I'm going to turn it down to halfway, so about 5, just so we can brown them slowly, and then the inside is warm as well. Right? So we'll just flip them now in a second. Coming right along. Slow and steady wins the race. You want the inside of it warm too, so don't crank up the heat too high. Oh, they smell delicious. Mwah. And here's the final product, folks. I'm serving mine with roasted garlic aioli. Also delicious with, I make a truffle aioli. Equally, if not better. Okay, enjoy. I'm gone. I'm going to tuck into this now. Thanks for watching.